Wednesday. It's always a Wednesday around here. Patrick Harris, Joe Fisher with you. Jordan Schultz behind the glass.
Let's go.
Hump day.
It's nice to be back from 7 to 9. This will be our home from here on out until week 1 of the Ducks Big Ten season next year, correct? Could there be a coach's show if they make the playoff?
No, I don't think they really need to. I personally think that they should just stop
It's up
doing.
to you. It's up
they
to
should
Joe.
just stop doing the coach's show. They have enough Ducks programming, and quite frankly, being Wally pipped an hour later when baseball is at its most important. I'm not too stoked about it.
No need to check with Boss Man Austin on that. Joe has made the call.
I think they can make that a podcast. Let's just say that.
Well, I've been saying that for years.
Yeah. I think you can just make that a live podcast that you like live stream, and you don't have to, take up an hour of our time. But
More importantly,
what do I know?
More importantly, an hour of your time.
Yeah.
You, the people.
That's why we're
your
here.
time. I am not here to waste your time. Unless it's my time. Then we waste time together in solidarity.
Well, I'm definitely wasting my time with this damn outlet over. I feel I wasn't in here on Sunday. I wasn't here last Wednesday right now.
Are you just listening to me live?
I don't know what's going on right now. I got one sound in my right headphone. Our pets' heads are falling off. I'm not happy. I'm gonna have to get new headphones. I'm rolling one ear for this seggy.
That's all right. We're an absolute disaster in here, but that's what happens.
It's the holidays.
I feel like an absolute disaster, and so that's great, man. We can just roll on,
dude. We're back though at 7:00. Like
we are back.
Now that I'm realizing what's going on. I mean, we are back at 7:00, and I am very thankful for that.
It is wildly important that we are back.
Yes,
especially
as the stove turns up, if you know what I mean.
I had a dream that this show was canceled.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
And I asked the question, I said, why would you cancel this? It costs literally no money to do. You've seen what you pay me. I know what you pay Jordan. And Joe does this show for free.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Why
I'm
is
doing him a
this show
favor.
being canceled? And the answer I was given, it was like a faceless exec.
It wasn't even Jeff Sacramento.
No, it wasn't Baton Rouge. It was a faceless exec.
Wow.
It wasn't
was literally
Martinez.
no face, no eyes, no nose.
It was just a
that
person
kind of
talking to me,
nightmare.
and they said, well, you know what? The airtime is just not worth that.
Wow.
And it was one of those like, whoa,
Wow.
dude. Have you seen our ratings? And they're like, we sure have.
Oh, we're aware.
We know.
We're quite aware.
I was like, nobody cares, man. Just let me do this. And they said, nope, we just, we're moving in a different direction. We wish you the best of luck. We thank you for your time here.
Thank you for your service.
And,
the hot
we're
corner,
outta
it's
here.
now the hot kitchen. Pickleball talk.
Yeah, hot pickleball talk.
That's not far off, actually.
In due time.
Funny enough, though, boss, I am a pickleball expert too. So could we keep the hot gym floor?
We did have syndicated E-League talk for a while. Remember that?
Yes, I do remember
on like
that.
Thursday nights for like maybe less than a year on this station.
It was a
swear
shot.
to God.
They took a shot.
They gave it
took
a
a shot.
shot. Give it 15, 20 years and don't give it a shot again.
Yeah.
But I remember, I don't even know what games it was. I don't know if it was like League of Legends. I think that's my.
Well, I remember.
That's awful.
I remember.
We should ask Voldemort.
I know. I remember Voldemort was like
he was on the
they-
broadcast.
They should put some esports. Like people are really into it.
Man. Wait, was he behind that decision?
I have
was
no
he
idea.
making
I
programming
have no
decisions
idea.
like that?
I have no idea. If he was, he kept it from me.
Did he have that pull?
If he did, he kept it from me, and he didn't keep much from me. But that I can understand why you would keep.
Didn't he have a Corona endorsement at one point too?
I don't know. I just remember the only endorsement he always ever wanted was he was like, "Why am I not Jersey Mike's? I am
True.
from Jersey, and my name is Mike."
I would
And
die.
I was like, "Well, Dusty is sexier than you, so
would
I don't know what to tell you."
die for Jersey Mike's to be dropped off at this office like once a month. Like it would be.
That would be heaven.
Oh God, what a stipend!
Go to
What a
Philly
stipend.
cheesesteak.
That'd be real nice.
You don't have to pay me, but free food is excellent.
That'd be wonderful.
That is
Newberg's,
how they pay you in radio most times.
We did
actually.
try that with the Beers on Us podcast. Like,
What
yo,
is-
can like Zupans or Market of Choice or New Seasons, like you give us beer.
Yeah.
I tried to write it off too. That didn't go. And I was like, you know what you pay me.
Now I'm just mad because I've been thinking of the Jersey Mike's, and there's a Jersey Mike's logo right there.
Yep.
On that. There's Jersey Mike's that's supposed to open in Newburgh, and it's said coming soon for like the last 8 months.
Is it like the
and it's making me mad. Not a sign of progress
It's
over
like
those 8
the
months.
most
at all.
anticipated restaurant to open in the history of Newburgh?
Dude, I was thinking it. I was like, man, this.
It's like In-N-Out and Canby.
Oh,
That's
I was
true.
saying before I even knew there was gonna be one. I
It's
was
like Trader Joe's
it'd
and
make a
Salmon
killing.
Creek, my friend.
I was saying it was gonna make a killing, and then I saw that they were moving one. I was like, good for them. Let's bring it home. And they're still teasing me.
We're getting to Trader Joe's and Salmon Creek, and boy, the wife and I licking
Dude,
chops.
Moving on up.
You want to
the
talk
east
about
side.
suburban life?
Yeah, that's.
We are told we
congratulations,
might
man.
be getting a Trader Joe's, and it's not a might. We are.
If the Berg gets a Trader Joe's, that's how I know we're for real.
It's over, dude. You
Yeah,
retire,
yeah.
dude. Joe, just quit your job.
My wife and I have been begging for a Trader Joe's in Wilsonville for years.
Yeah, what's the closest TJ's to you?
Probably Lake O, but there's also one up on 99W,
You know
kind of
what?
like as you get into Tigard.
If they're gonna put one anywhere, they're putting it in Sherwood.
they're
not
Everybody
going
lo-
all
Everybody
the way
loves
out.
Sherwood.
They're not going all
It's
the way
like-
out to Newburgh.
It's like the
for a
middleman.
Trader Joe's. Yeah,
Sherwood
exactly.
is totally the middleman.
They
If
got
I've
a
known
Jersey
you long
Mike's
enough,
there.
Joe, I know that.
See, they gave them a Jersey Mike's
Yeah.
like 3-4
5
years
minutes
ago.
from Joe's house, but no,
Yeah.
he can't drive that far.
We get the
It needs
scraps
to be
in
at the
Newburgh.
corner.
I gotta,
it has to be.
I gotta drive to East Vancouver to get a TJ's,
That
and you gotta
sucks.
go even further east for a Chick-fil-A. Not that I've ever eaten there before
Ooh.
because I boycott that place, but
Well, I mean, stop going there on Sundays. You're like, why are they closed?
I remember driving by it one day on a Sunday, and there was this poor
It's
guy
not you're
outside.
boycotting. You're going the wrong day, dude.
There was this poor guy outside, and let me tell you, he didn't look like me. If you catch my drift,
Okay.
and he was like power washing the drive-through on a Sunday, and I was like, oh, can't sell chicken sandwiches, but this guy's gonna power wash your driveway, huh?
I hope they are deep
Probably a
cleaning,
contract, dude.
He
He doesn't work for Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A paid him. He's his own company
just
to come
looking
do
at
that.
you. My
Yeah.
pleasure.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
no
that
free
the-
chicken sandwich for me.
Isn't that they're saying that they have to say instead of thank you
My
or you're
pleasure.
welcome? It's my pleasure.
That's weird.
I'm pretty sure that's a Chick-fil-A thing.
I'd rather have the my pleasure than the like Dutch Brothers, where it's like 5:45 in the morning, and you walk up, they're like, "Hello, Mr. Harris. It's so good to see you. Oh my gosh, how is your day today?" And you're like, "Whoa, I'm gonna need you to calm the right down."
Two
Yes.
steps down.
You ever swing into a McDonald's at 5:45 in the morning? They're like, "How can I help you?"
Take that Skrillex down about 40 decibels, bud.
The
Thank you, Chandler.
The McDonald's 545 vibe is very what's the movie? Ooh, Idiocracy.
Yes.
Welcome to Costco. I love you. That's the McDonald's 545 AM vibe.
Hey, what do you want? Oh, I just need a sausage muffin with egg and a Coke, and they're like, "Pull around."
Carl's Jr. F you. I'm eating.
Vancouver Ford text line chimes in. Matt and Pullman. Been waiting for a Trader Joe's in Salmon Creek for years.
Yeah, Matt,
Well,
come
I'm
all
happy
the
for
way.
you.
That's a hell of a commute, but it might be the closest TJ's to Pullman.
I don't know much about TJ products. I go there every few years, but I do know one thing. They got this certain seasoning, 21 seasoning salute.
Mhm.
Dude, money. Goes
Every-
on absolutely anything. It is just
Dude, you need everything but the
sacre
bagel.
bleu.
You need everything but the bagel seasoning.
Oh, I've heard of that too. Yeah, I've smelled. Yeah, that's.
Dude, I got TJ's food right in
Oh,
front
you
of
got
me.
to, yeah. what
Dude,
is
if
that,
we don't
little-
have
a wrap?
Spicy lentil wrap.
I don't know, cut the lentil and it's good.
If we
Well,
don't
then
have
you
the
wouldn't have anything.
Just spicy wrap. All I want is just the spicy wrap part of that.
if we don't have the everything bagel
Veggies and hot
seasoning in
sauce.
our house, we have like it's a Trader Joe's is a must stop.
Yeah,
That's-
they're making bread, like just baking bread with that on it now. Like
yup.
my parents will bring home some loaves and I'll stop by and I'll be like, "What is this?" And they're like, "It's just everything like bread."
It's
like,
it's so funny.
and
Before
smells so damn good.
before I met my wife, TJ's is the ultimate bachelor spot. So it's like if you're a single man, and even with you and Medium Joe, like it's great. because,
Target
like-
is probably
That's because
the
you
way
live in
to-
Newburgh.
well, no, there's more married folks there, but
But
yeah.
like TJ's has really great frozen food, and their produce ain't bad at all, and they've got great stuff that you can get. And so I was scared once I met my wife, and we got married, and then we got these 3 kids. Now I was like, oh, R.I.P. TJ's. I loved you, but R.I.P. We still go there a lot, and it makes me so happy.
you're like, gosh, I just love the selection here of the food.
Of the food, of course.
The food.
The food, of course.
Love you, honey.
Oakley Dokley. Well, we got a baseball show
Hey.
for you today.
Dude, we do have baseball.
We do got a lot of baseball to talk about.
Like I
There's
talked about that stove earlier. It's
it's
heating up.
heating up. We got the Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6320. 826. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, after the sale. Visit VancouverFord.com. We got a lot to get to today, but before we get to baseball, I want to play with this. It is Pac-12 championship week. It is the last week of the Pac-12. I am a born and raised Pac-10, Pac-12 kid.
Oh boy.
I am an alumni. Joe, as are you.
Oh boy. Should
we're-
I do it? Should I? Oh.
We're just gonna open it up a little bit.
I wanted to fire off your fight song, but I don't think it's in the system.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. We will pay homage to the Pac-12 here on this tiny little baseball show, and we'll do that next. This is the Hot Corner, Portland Sports Leader, 1080 The Fan.
At Shane Company, we believe everybody deserves to shine. That's why we create fine jewelry that's unique
Fremont Bridge. We got a lot to get to you today. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, we'll dive into basically some hot stove talk as there's a lot of trade conversation going on. There's some stuff I'd like to save for next week, but a lot of trade conversations going on with some big names. Juan Soto, Randy Arozarena.
Yeah, Morosi bombs left and right.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff kind of going on, and there's some new signings as well. So we'll see what we get to. That'll be up in the 8 o'clock hour. And also later this hour, I would like to introduce you. We did this once before with a phenom coming out of Japan, and I would like to introduce you as well to potentially the next phenom coming out of Japan. But before we get to any of that, something near and dear to my heart, if you check out the stream that is on youtube.com/1080am The Fan, you will see that I am, coincidentally, it was not intentionally, but you will see that today I opted to throw the old alma mater, New Era 5950, the best hat in the world, on my head today, as I am an alumni of Washington State University. This is Pac-12 Championship Week here on The Fan. You can catch that game here, wall-to-wall coverage on Friday, as the Ducks take on Washington in a gigantic spread that I'm about to bet the house on.
Yeah, don't mention it.
Right here from Vegas.
Mentioned it.
But before we get to that, I thought, Joe and I, you and I have been friends for a long time. You're an Oregon grad. I'm a Wazoo grad. Pac-10, Pac-12 kind of has lived in our blood for a long time. And this might be the last chance I have on this show, unless I maybe fill in on some stuff over the holidays, to kind of reminisce about the Pac-10. And I'd like to open that up. And we'll get to the championship game as well. Joe, what do you think you'll remember the best about the Pac-10, Pac-12 as we kiss it off into the sunset?
Yeah.
I know that's a loaded question.
It is.
It can be your Ducks. It can be whatever. It can be Mariota. It can be the Natty. It can be whatever.
I would just say, because, there's a lot of years to sum it all up. I mean, just to look at this season, the final season and chapter of the Pac-12, and I said something similar on Sports Sunday a couple weeks ago, that of all the possibilities and all the things that could have happened in this final season of the Pac-12, if you look at the regionality, the fact that you have Oregon and Washington in the Pac-12 championship game, and Oregon and Oregon State, and I know we now know what happened with Jonathan Smith leading up to the game and why the players might have shown up a little flat and uninspired, but
which I didn't see any of that coming, so it was wild to me when I watched that game. I was like, what the hell is going oh.
I don't want to hear it, though.
Yeah.
Because that's still the Civil War. That's
True.
still a rivalry game.
True.
You still had a chance to eliminate Oregon from a chance to go to the Pac-12 championship game and ruin their season.
If you got up for Gare Bear.
Just like you did last year.
If you got up for Gare Bear, you can get up for Jonathan Smith.
So I don't want to hear that crap.
Sure.
All right?
Fair.
I understand. We saw what happened with Oregon a couple years ago with Mario and what happened against Utah. We saw that. All right. But in a rivalry game, that's different. You can't let that happen in a rivalry game. So outside of that last 24-hour stretch for Oregon State, for the season to kind of be held in the balance of that game in that moment in this final weekend, it could have been, there's 12 teams, right? We all knew that Stanford, Cal, Colorado probably weren't going to be there in the end, Arizona State. But of all the possibilities, things that could have happened this Pac-12 season, Oregon was projected, 4th, 5th preseason? In the Pac-12 preseason ranking?
Yeah, I think you had USC 1.
Yeah,
I think you had Utah
USC,
2.
Washington, Utah, Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon, and then Oregon
Fourth-ish.
State was 5.
Yeah.
So, right there alone, Oregon exceeding
Wazoo was
expectations.
1A, but we'll move on.
Totally.
I mean,
Cam Ward, baby, future Duck quarterback.
Look, what do we had at Utah, USC again? Utah, Arizona, Washington, Arizona was this close to being a possibility.
Yeah.
So I wanted
If we had divisions, it would be the reality.
Yes. Of all the years, there's plenty of memories to go off of, but just to sum it up, just this one season of everything that could have happened, it's pretty amazing that it's come to this in these last 2 weeks.
I think I'm with you. And as a longtime Pac-10, Pac-12 watcher, supporter, alumni, radio host, I think you nailed it, Joe. I think this year we walked into it going, this is going to be unpredictable and chaotic. and we tried to make a prediction, and it turned out completely different than what we thought. And I think what's really rad and has always been great about the Pac-10 and the Pac-12, especially with Utah. I mean, Colorado's kind of a whipping boy, but I have grandparents that told me, my parents who told me about when Arizona and Arizona State came in. It was kind of like, well, what are these guys doing here? But I'm too young for that. And Colorado's been a whipping boy, but Utah came in, and over the last few years, I mean, they're going to the Big 12, and they're going to dominate that conference.
Yeah, they are not ready for Utah.
But what I've always loved about the Pac-12 and the Pac-10 is that this conference, the fandom is the rivalries and the geography is, in my opinion, no different than the Big 10 and the Big 12 and the SEC. We just have other things to do out here than go to a football game every weekend. So it seems like we care less. But I'll tell you what, when it's Oregon State, when it's Oregon UW, when it's Wazoo Oregon, Wazoo, UW, Cal Stanford, Arizona USC, like all that stuff, there's real rivalry and there's real hatred and passion and stuff like that. And I'm really glad, Arizona's an awesome story this year.
Yeah.
USC is a wild story this year. Colorado is a wild story this year. Oregon State, the way it ended is a wild story. Hell, my Cougs almost knocked off the number 4 team in the nation. Should have, had there not been a phantom, roughing the passer call. Maybe not should have, but things might have been different. That this year, I think, represents what West Coast football is all about. High octane, good quarterbacks, high offense, and a team that has a defense that bend, don't break, is going to be in the national championship picture. And sure enough, here we are walking into a Pac-12 title game where the lower seed is favored by 9.5 and 10 in some places, and I'm willing to bet the farm on that.
Don't blame you.
I think this conference, adios, I love you. I will miss you terribly. Not because I don't have a home to go, but mostly because I don't have a home to go. I will miss you.
Yet.
I will miss you greatly. And as much as I hope the game on Friday is a wonderful, enjoyable entertainment spectacle of two teams, there are no two teams in the Pac-12 I despise more than these two teams. But I really hope it's a great game. Unfortunately, I don't think it will be.
You guys got me feeling nostalgic, man. I mean, my first game, I think, for going to football ever was a Civil War in the 90s that nobody cared about, Just going up to, what did Reser Stadium used to be? Like Parker Stadium back in the day?
Yeah.
Rolling up there, grabbing free peanuts. And then my first ever real memory was the 2001 beat of USC by Oregon when Carson Palmer threw a 4th down pass into the stands. But then, I mean, I could go through all the fun memories I have, but I guess if you're asking me what I'm thinking about most this week, it's what could have been back in the early 2010s going into that point with what almost was the Pac-16 when Texas, when Oklahoma, kind of looking
That's
back
true.
and seeing what almost was going to be the powerhouse, setting up massive blue bloods joining the pack. And
we were the Big 10 before the Big 10.
Exactly, and bringing that conversation over to the West Coast and kind of taking away the laughingstock part of our fandom and football programs here. So I just, I get it. We got to go. We're this is over, but I one more roundup before. But gosh, man, I'm feeling so nostalgic and honestly. Yeah, a little upset. Even though it's like I got to accept it, but I am a little upset that this is ending.
I love that you brought that up because it reminds me of this, and this is what I was taught as a kid, and I still hold it to this day. The Pac-12 crumbles mostly because of Larry Scott.
Yep.
George Kliavkoff doesn't help. You can point fingers at UCLA and USC.
And Arizona.
You can point fingers at Colorado. You can point fingers at Arizona State. I don't point fingers too much at Oregon and Washington. I think they were put in a corner, and nobody puts baby in a corner, not with that kind of money. So they made the right move. So I don't blame them. But you can blame all those other people. But what's really hilarious to me is that the teams that I care about most, quote unquote, in terms of what the rivalries mean in this conference, are going to the Big 10. And I am born and raised to despise the Big 10 because I'm a Rose Bowl kid. Every year on New Year's Day, my parents took me over to my grandparents' house, and we always watched the Rose Bowl. And whatever Pac-10 team was in the Rose Bowl, we rooted for them because the Big 10 can shove it. And so I am excited that the one long-lasting tradition outside of the Apple Cup, because I'm very fortunate that I still get that. Outside of that Apple Cup, my one longstanding tradition that sticks around is that I hate the Big Ten. And I will continue to hate the Big Ten.
And
if
really
there's
helps.
if there's a Big Ten team in the Rose Bowl playing against Georgia, Texas, OK State, I don't care who it is. If there's a Big Ten team in the Rose Bowl game, I will be rooting against you.
Well, there you go.
Because I hate the Big Ten.
And it works out very well that the two teams you hate most are going to the conference you hate most.
Yep. It makes it easy. I don't really have to change much.
We'll be remiss, though, to say that, man, your Cougs, it would have been much cooler if, they didn't lose, 6 straight games or whatever it was.
Yeah. It'd have been a lot cool to go to a bowl game this year.
Would have been a lot cooler if, you didn't just
It would.
choke.
It would have been very historic and a fairy tale ending
But
that
very Coug-like ending.
it is the
sucking,
most Coug thing
and
ever.
then giving Washington a run in the Apple
I'm
Cup.
gonna give your Cougs a little credit. I know we got to get out to
Oh, boy.
break, but I will say I think it was more of the result of the cannibalization of the conference this year, and that means that the teams are getting better. And that is honestly, that's the worst thing about all this ending is Pac-12 football was getting to the Big Ten SEC type level, maybe not exactly, but right there, and now it's over.
Yeah, but 10-7 to Stanford, missed field goal against Cal, roughing the passer against UW. Yeah, that'll sink you. That'll do it. That's very Wazoo.
God, that
That's very
10-7
Wazoo.
Stanford one,
It's so awful. Dude, it's
can't.
7-0 at halftime.
I
Wazoo.
still can't.
What was
I
the
know.
weather for that game?
It's a Palo Alto, man.
It wasn't
Jeez.
that bad at all.
The same thing it is right now.
It was,
Real quick, because we got to get out of here. Pac-12 championship game is on Friday. I don't think any of us, Jordan, you might be on the air, but I don't think any of us are on.
Yeah,
Joe,
no, I'll
you
be
and
on
I.
post-game.
Your prediction, real quick. Final score.
Give me Oregon. Let's go. Oregon 38, Wazoo 31.
Nice Freudian slip. You mean UW?
I wish it was Wazoo, but I really wish it was. Yeah, Washington 31.
41-31.
Covering that 9.5.
I will take.
38-31.
I love where your head is a little bit. I like Oregon to score 41. I'll take UW 24. I think this game is not close. I think UW gets a little bit garbage time to close the gap, but I do not think they cover the spread. I am not a sports gambler, and I am very tempted to throw some serious coin down on this game because I believe Oregon is maybe a top 2 team in the nation.
Right into the veins. If you give me a 41-24 Oregon victory, oh my God.
I think it might get nuts. And yeah. And if they jump to the number 3 seed in the playoff and they play Michigan, I'm probably going to take Oregon in that game too.
I've got one. Hell yeah. I got one caveat for my prediction. They will cover if the Ducks score on their first possession. If they don't, Washington will cover. There you go.
All right, that's that. So everybody have fun. You can catch the Pac-12 championship game right here on the Fan, home of the Ducks, as the Oregon Ducks will take on the Washington Huskies. We got wall-to-wall coverage all day, so stick around. Just turn it on and take it all the way home and then listen to the game at home or throw it on TV, whatever best fits you. When we come back, let's get into some baseball. I would like to introduce to you, potentially, someone that might be a big deal. Might be a big deal. The last guy was a big deal. This guy might be a big deal, too.
Yeah, he's a big
He's a big deal. So we'll do that next. But first, there's my boy Schultze with sports.
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, the Cleveland Browns elevating Joe Flacco to QB2 behind Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He is still in concussion protocol, and since he's not practicing, it's very possible that Flacco will become Cleveland's 4th starting quarterback this season when they face off against the Rams this weekend. Other big NFL news, this time out of New York. Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, he has been opening the 21-day practice window today. That means and that actually happened exactly 11 weeks after surgery, so it means he's going to have 3 weeks to get back to healthy before, and yeah, healthy is a relative term here, before the team has to decide whether or not to play him. Once again, he was cleared for functional football activity today, but not contact, so that'll be an interesting one. In college football, Duke starting quarterback Riley Leonard entering the transfer portal after head coach Mike Elko leaving the program to take the Texas A&M job. Elko could be bringing Riley Leonard along with him to College Station. In the association, CJ McCollum back on the floor for the Pelicans after missing more than 3 weeks with a collapsed lung. Right now, in the fourth quarter, the Pelicans look like they're just about to seal the win. 124-112 lead, 20 seconds to go in the game. Just about end of the first quarter, the Clippers lead the Kings 26-21, and 6.5 to go in the third. Nuggets over the Rockets 90-74. Nikola Jokic leading the way, 25 points, 13 assists in that one. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk. Watch and wager on pro and college football from across the country at Spirit Mountain Casino. Learn more at spiritmountain.com.
The original home of the Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays 9 to noon, 1080 The Fan.
Victorico's Mexican food offers all the authentic Mexican flavors that you crave. Hey, it's Dusty. I'm here to tell you that Victorico's is your go-to spot for
trade talk, not just free agents, but some trade talk. You all right over there, buddy?
It's the headphone thing again. I keep bumping it, and then I get the sound back in my left one, and I'm like, oh, hey, we're good, and then we're not. So
Need more snare in your headphone.
that is it. Do we have any more of that snare
Get a
anywhere?
little more middies, please.
What's the inventory on our snare? One last thing on the Big Ten. I will say they're
Sure, go for it.
fiscally responsible. I looked up their headquarters today, where it was at.
Indianapolis?
No, it's in some random suburb just like outside of Chicago.
Taxes
and,
must be great there.
and they share the building with a Fogo de Chao. Not even kidding.
Oh, a
I don't
Fogo
know.
de Chão, yes.
Fogo de Chao, is that how you say it?
It's spelled Fogo de Chão, but in
But
Portuguese,
in-
Fogo de Chão.
I was gonna say in white, middle-aged American vernacular, that is Fogo de Chao.
You know,
okay?
you mean it's not a giant San Francisco building that has $1 million a month rent?
I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a joke. I was like, is this a
Or at the top of the
mock-up, or-
MGM in Vegas?
No, it's literally like a shared little brick building. Like it.
Thanks, Larry. Thanks, George.
Very unassuming. And I'm like, wow, when didn't you look at that? And they're the one that has 20 teams next year.
Yeah, because
Good
they
for
know
them.
where they should be spending their damn money.
Like I said, fiscally responsible. You may hate them, but they're fiscally responsible, Patrick. All right, we're done.
Quick shout out to our YouTube peeps for tuning in. It's amazing what happens when you're on 7 to 9 instead of 8 to 10.
That live stream just keeps going.
Just keeps going up, baby. And
I mean,
bam!
that is on Wednesdays. That's 9 straight hours of 1080 The Fan live stream for you.
Woo-wee. We
Man,
are
that's
on the air.
That's a TV channel.
I just get off
essentially.
at weird times.
Me too.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, coming up in the second hour, like I said, we'll get into some trades as that, but I want to introduce to you, my friends, a man named Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Say it one more time.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
You got it.
Yoshi
You-
Yamamoto.
You did get it.
Well, Yamamoto is easy. His first name's a little like, whoa,
Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Yoshi's pretty
I'm going to
easy.
go with Yoshi
Yeah.
Yamamoto or just Yama.
Yoshiyama.
He was posted the other day.
Why? How about that?
The dub Y.
Yeah,
Dub Y. Dub Y and Juan Dulio. And a little rubby action. Who cares?
Dude, we got the best nicknames. Put
Yamamoto.
that on Baseball Reference.
Yamamoto has been posted and is now up for grabs in Major League Baseball. And I won't bore you with how the posted stuff goes. Basically, if you pay the fee, you get 24 hours to decide a contract, and very rarely does it not happen. So usually they accept the bid from the team that the player wants to go to. Yamamoto's coming over, and he has been an absolute gem in the Japanese baseball league. He has won. So let me tell you some stuff about him. He has won the MVP of the league 3 years in a row. The only player to ever win the MVP 3 years in a row in that league is a man named Ichiro Suzuki. He is coming over at 25 years old. He is 5'10", 177 pounds. He's a right-hander, okay? They say he throws a fastball averaging 95 that tops out at 99. Okay, so that seems kind of average. But he has a splitter, a cutter, and a curve. And everybody is saying that that splitter is a legitimate out pitch in Major League Baseball.
Unhittable.
Unhittable. Some other things I found out. He was in the World Series this year in Japan. His team won the World Series.
What team did he play for? Just
He-
because I always love hearing
He
these
plays for
Japanese
the
named teams.
Oryx Buffaloes.
Nice.
They're not the Blue Waves anymore?
No, they're the
Dang.
Buffaloes.
The
Oh, wow,
Oryx
okay.
Buffalo. And not like the Buffalo that we know here. We're what an Afro Buffalo
Yeah,
is.
Buff Aloes.
Yes.
Aloes.
Yes.
Buff
Not-
Aloes.
Not a
Aloe.
bison.
No.
Not a bison. A
No.
buffalo.
So he pitched game 1 of the series, okay? He gave up 7 runs, and they lost 8-0.
Bum.
And then in game 6, he had 14 strikeouts, and they won 5-1 with 138 pitches.
Dear God.
Not to mention, he was one of the most valuable pitchers of their staff in the World Baseball Classic, which they won, except for you don't know it because of Shohei Ohtani. This guy, I think, has a chance to be maybe the best thing to come over from Asia since Hideo Nomo.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the Tanaka thing kind of flamed out pretty
Tanaka was good for a
quickly.
couple years, but,
but
it,
he
it-
just-
it- there was no longevity.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as
Yu
far as
Darvish has been really good in this league.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of the Japanese pitchers that have came over, it's hard to think of absolutely dominant ones that had that longevity, as you mentioned.
Mhm.
And I would love to see that happen because I think I think the mystique around Japanese players when they come over, it's fun. Like there's always this cloud of mystery about how good they actually are. And of course they're good at baseball, but it's like, can their game adapt to the MLB?
Right, because their game is very different, which we see when you watch their league. You're like, oh, man, this game is not what I'm used to watching. But then when you put it up against America, they just won the World Baseball Classic.
Yes. So that's where it's like, if you have hype and then you deliver, like, Shohei, that's when it's like, dude, I love those stories because again, it's hard to live up to hype in any sport. And when it starts to build up, I mean, like just to reference Tanaka again, they flew him over in like a plane that cost how much?
Right.
Do you remember that whole story when they like flew him over to New York for his press conference and it was like a 7 Boeing, one of the biggest ones that cost like $500,000 to rent it for a couple hours or something like that. It's just like, you do that before the dude even throws a pitch. Like, what do you think? I mean, the Yankees, they might have a whole like air fleet for him on the way back.
And I'm glad you mentioned the Yankees. Okay, now they're kind of the whipping boy of this show right now, and a little bit of the league too, because of how disappointing they've been. Side note: was Severino going to the Mets? Do you know Judge is the longest tenured Yankee?
Is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I mean, LeMahieu's not.
Nah, he's only been there a few years.
What matrix are we living in? That's crazy.
But I will give the Yanks a little bit of credit. I read this. There's reports that the Yankees have been stashing the number 18 for the last couple years because in Japan, the number 18 is reserved for the ace.
I hate them.
Similar to the number 10 in soccer.
I
So
hate
Leo
them
Messi
so
wears
much.
number 10. It's not uncommon that the best player on the field in soccer wears number 10, although usually it's reserved for kind of your not necessarily a captain, but more of like your playmaker in the midfield. They're not necessarily a scorer, but they're the person that kind of the offense runs through.
Like your striker?
Like your quarterback.
Okay.
This is too much
basically.
soccer.
So they reserve number 10 for that. Like Leo Messi is number 10. Okay.
You've eclipsed your soccer talk.
18 is reserved in Japan for the ace.
So you're saying the Yankees
Have stashed the number 18.
have they been doing this for him or just like in chance, like, dude, I hope that there's a good Japanese pitcher
For
that wants to
him.
come over that's
For him.
I hate them so much.
I hate him so much too.
The gall.
Why
Like
did they make
well,
why
they
did
came out-
Tanaka wear 19?
Well, that's
what
such
the
a-
hell what's their problem?
That's such a Yankee move.
Because
though.
probably somebody else had 18.
No, I'm gonna go look this up now. Like 2014 to 2020. Like this, I love
like-
how for Yoshi Yamamoto, we're gonna roll the red carpet out.
But
Dude,
Yamamoto might be the next best thing.
they gave Tanaka, as you just talked about, a massive 747 and $155 million plus the posting fee back then.
Well, he
So-
doesn't get the posting fee.
No, but they're paying it. They're spending upwards of $200 million just to get.
But
it.
the Yankees have
and
come
it
out.
was a rented 787. I did find the article. 195,000, not 500,000. Want to make sure that we're correct
That's
on that.
nothing for the Yanks. But I find it interesting, though, that this is the guy. They have said they're pretty much out on Shohei, although we can get to that in a moment. This is their guy. This is who they want. Carlos Rodon has been an absolute bust. Severino and Herman are absolute disasters. And Garrett Cole's a Cy Young winner, but man, that guy only throws every 5 days.
Didn't I see Severino just sign with someone today?
Yeah, the Mets.
That's right. Well,
13 mil one
moving
year.
costs will be low.
Well, New York's got some of the best cocktails in the world.
I missed that one. That one.
I think it's interesting that they're putting all their eggs in the
sorry.
basket for Yamamoto
I'm sorry.
because I think there's going to be a bunch of other teams that are interested in him too. The
Uh,
Giants are in play for him.
Yep, I was gonna say Giants. The way that things are saying with the Giants, and I know we might get into Shohei more, but they're gonna probably end up with one of these guys. I think.
And that's what it is that that it is an absolute failure if they don't get one, if not both.
I think if they don't end up with either of them, then they're gonna be very upset with themselves.
If they don't get either of them, they might be looking like an Oregon State Wazoo.
I think, and quite frankly,
Like,
I mean,
what happened to us? I thought people wanted us.
I feel like they can get one of them, but like the chances of them getting both or one of them, let's be real. It's like Yankees are going to do everything in their power to get Yoshi. And then Shohei, Oracle Park is not ideal for left-handed batters. So, I mean, is that as alluring to him as LA?
I mean, it didn't stop Bonds.
That's true. But Bonds was also had a head the size of a overgrown watermelon.
Yeah, so I am very intrigued by Yoshi. I hope he comes in. I would love to see him somewhere better than New York because I don't want to see the pressure and I don't want to see him lose a bunch of games 2-1.
Dude, Baltimore's fine.
Baltimore
Just
would
go
be
to
Baltimore is
Baltimore.
beautiful this
We
time.
could
of
use
year.
the arms.
Some crab, some what's up, dude. Like, let's do it.
They actually just picked up the Braves' old pitching coach, I believe.
Oh,
Baltimore did. So
I didn't know Leo Mazzoni was still alive. Is he still rocking?
I don't think that's what his name was. I don't even remember the dude's name. I just know that he was the Braves pitching coach.
Speaking of pitching coaches, you see the Brian Price Bob Melvin reunion in San Fran?
I did.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's an old Mariners pairing right there that he took to Arizona.
And I love that what's his name in Cleveland's going to keep everybody that's run that organization outside of Tio for the last few years.
Excuse me, it's
smart.
Atlanta's bullpen coach. Drew French will be their pitching coach now. Fisher firing on also.
Well, you know, there was a bullpen coach that was pretty good in Cleveland, and he's the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays and a two-time manager of the year named Kevin Cash. So bullpen guys might know what's going on.
Yeah.
When we come back, I want to dive into this real quick since we don't have a ton of time. We mentioned Shohei Ohtani. There's some new developments on it. I don't want to talk about where he might land, but I've got this theory that I'm just like banging home on that I'd like to run by you guys and see what you think. And we'll do that next on the Hot Corner, 1080 The Fan.
This is going to be kind of an odd question,
Severino with the Mets earlier today. But I want to run this thought by you guys real quick as we're already kind of up against it because we've been running long.
Sorry.
No, it's
I'm
my fault.
sorry.
It's my wheel. I'm driving him.
You're crashing!
I wanted to look at the giant rubber band ball in North Dakota.
Dear!
We mentioned Shohei Ohtani, and I don't want to get into where's he going to go. I think that's boring radio. But have you noticed there's a lot of teams coming out saying, "Oh, we're out of the Shohei sweepstakes."
Just
the Yankees have said it.
Yankees.
The Mariners have said it.
Yeah.
which is infuriating.
The
to me.
Cubs have kind of said it. Like, there are teams that are kind of saying it, and I actually think this is a little more deep state than we're giving it credit.
Ooh.
Tinfoil hat time.
A little bit. And normally I wouldn't think this way. I'm not a conspiracy guy.
Can we
I'm,
cut these cans to make a hat out of?
I am not Jan 6. I am not Hunter Biden. I'm not a part of any of that stuff.
I see what's on your laptop.
But I'll tell you what. The report came out from Shohei Ohtani's camp that if it gets leaked that he speaks with a team, it takes him off the table.
Oh.
Why wouldn't you? If you're the Yankees or if you're the Mariners or the Cubs, I'm surprised the Dodgers haven't done this. To just come out and say, you know what? Shohei's not on our table.
If I'm the
Now, I think
Orioles,
if you're
I'm
the-
leaking that every other team in the league has talked to Ohtani at this point.
Now, if you're the Dodgers or if you're the Giants, that's a no-brainer. Like, everybody knows you're a player. So that would be stupid. But I think it's kind of smart by Cubs, Mariners, Yankees, Rangers, anybody that might be interested on.
Just to make sure I heard you correct, that if reports come out that if he has talked to a specific team and that leaks, then he's like, you're done.
Correct.
Wow.
Because he wants this to
Take
be
him out back.
This wants it to be private, which tells me it takes New York right off the table. Because that means you don't want to be in that pressure. I'm interested why that keeps the Dodgers on the table, but hey, the Dodgers are perennial favorites, and it's the area he's been living in. I think a lot of these teams are saying it because they don't want to get nixed. If DePoto comes out and says, yep, we're not interested. Good call, dude.
We have absolutely no interest. I'm
I
looking at
am
the camera
Robot.
right now.
My name is Brian Cashman. We don't want the best player in baseball.
Blink twice if you want Shohei. I can't hold it.
Yeah, so I'm curious. Do any of you
Just
guys,
read the damn teleprompter.
as I share that to you, do any of you guys believe there might be a little bit of kind of deep state maneuvering here in the sense like you can't, like, the Cubs are gonna talk to him. The Mariners and the Yankees are gonna talk to him. The Red Sox are gonna talk to him.
Are they?
At least gauge.
What's talking though? Is it like shooting your shot or like walking over to the girl with your head hung low and like, hi, I like
Talk
you.
to you.
I like you, and then I run away.
I think your up tops are great. I'm out of here.
Yeah, that will
like your
surely land
yabos.
the deal. God, I like your splitter.
I don't know. I just think there's some. I just think there's some teams in this that should be players that are like, we're not
Seattle.
players.
It does seem that the conversations have been a little quiet, but you did bring up a good point, and I maybe it's just that there's so much going on in the world of sports. I kind of forgot that was the real caveat. Like, hey, if I'm talking to you, this can't get out. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's the reports, John Heyman, which take that with a grain of salt. But there's reports coming out.
Grain.
There's reports coming out that
Oh, Salt Lick.
that he might sign by the winter meetings, and I can't believe that if the report is he might sign by the winter meetings, that he's not talking to anybody. You can't just tell me that it's like, once he starts talking, he's going to make that decision in 24 hours. No, those talks are already going on.
I would
They have to be going on.
The GM meetings were already in Arizona, right? Like, what, 2 or 3 weeks before Thanksgiving?
I mean, they got canceled because everybody got sick.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is that
got the bubble
Thanksgiving?
guts.
Is that Thanksgiving? Ooh, bad joke.
No, it was a couple weeks before that, but yeah, everybody got a case of the poos.
I just can't believe that nobody's talked to him, and all these teams are out on him, quote unquote, and he's going to sign in 2 weeks.
I feel like it's also relative, guys, of the market this offseason. I mean, Aaron Nola was basically the first free agent pitcher off the board, or free agent player in general. Big signing. I've seen almost zero movement, and I know it's December 1st, 2nd. That's really the start of the hot stuff season,
Sure.
but I usually feel like we've either at least had more re-signings or some movement that's been talked about or we know is going to happen or we know where the destination of a couple of these questionable players. But I don't know. This is definitely an odd off season. I don't know if it's just because of the lack of options. What do you guys think?
This is where I say we go to hour 2 because I feel like things are starting to heat up. Like I was reading a lot of stuff today. Morosi was throwing things out left and right today. And again, I also was looking up the biggest salt mines in the world for where you need to read John Heyman reports at. The Sifto salt mines in Ontario, the Kawera salt mines in Pakistan.
You got Leo DiCaprio at a blood diamond somewhere.
Yeah, spend your entire hot stove in one of these salt mines reading John Heyman's report. But I think that's where we need to go, hour 2, because there is a lot of talks now about a lot of different players.
Last question I'll ask you, because he could sign before we're back next week. Last question I'll ask you. More anticipated free agent, Shohei Ohtani or LeBron James to Miami?
Oh, boy. I mean, it's LeBron.
People don't care about baseball
As
it's
much as
LeBron.
that.
Unfortunately, there's no Shohei decision.
Even
that
though
I
we
see
knew
coming
he
up
was
on
going to
ESPN.
Miami?
If we take a flight over to Japan and you ask me that question,
That's a fair point. Yeah.
then I'm sure that you make that poll over there, and that question is swung a different way. Obviously.
What is Colorado Rockies? All right, we come back. The hot stove is heating up. Let's talk about trades, guys, that could be on the move. Loaded second hour. Don't go anywhere. The hot corner. Today, the fan.
Holiday stories from Shane Company customers.
Service Patriots podcast. Service Patriots, your home comfort solution for all your heating and air conditioning needs. Check out the latest special offers for our listeners. That's you at servicepatriots.com/thefan. We also have the Vancouver Ford text line. That'll let you interact with us throughout the entire show. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, after the sale. Visit vancouverford.com. Trust me, I'm a professional. There's also the YouTube channel, youtube.com/1080am The Fan. We here. What up?
It's dumb lit. No
Shout out-
cap. as the
Shout
kids
out to
say.
our P1 Adam Jones, the greatest center fielder in the history of the Baltimore Orioles.
Definitely wanted to be upset with Adam Jones watching this silly little show.
You know what? I'm going to take Mike Cameron over Adam Jones.
I won't.
Me neither. That was a joke.
Give me AJ.
I mean, as a Mariner fan, enjoying the years of Mike Cameron as opposed to watching Adam Jones get traded to your Orioles, Joe, for a crappy Eric Bedard. So, no, I choose Mike Cameron.
You guys didn't use him right.
Adam Jones is great. I love
We-
Adam Jones.
We gave you like 5 players for Eric
Yeah.
Bedard.
I
It was
wish-
a bad trade.
I wish I was Adam Jones. Play center field, super solid, be a legend in Baltimore, and then, you know what? Scoot over to Japan for a couple years. He made that catch in the World Baseball Classic.
He did. That's a.
I love Adam Jones.
And
Adam Jones' baseball career would be a highlight for everyone.
that very well might be the real Adam Jones because he is quite the foodie as well. And this Adam Jones on the YouTube chat is very judgmental of your sandwiches and food choice.
Adam Jones, you are welcome to come in here, but you got to bring sandwiches and food choices.
Like gourmet sandwiches, ones that cost like $15, $20 for both of us.
Yeah.
And Jordan. All 3 of us.
Yes, I was going to say thank you. Yeah.
Actually, bring 2 sandwiches. for
And
all
you
of
got to
us.
be on the show, and you got to talk because Joe and I will be silent, staring at you,
eating sandwiches.
eating sandwiches. He's beautiful too.
What, Adam Jones?
Hey, good looking dude.
Oh,
Oh.
absolutely. He's a
Our
great looking
YouTube chat, Adam Jones, or
That is Adam Jones.
oh, of course,
Of
yes.
course it is,
What,
yeah.
what did I just say?
So we got a lot to get to. I want to get into this off-season stuff as we're diving into it. And there's been some signings, but I'll hold off to that till next week because they're not going anywhere. What's fun right now is kind of looking around and seeing guys that are on the block, trades that could be happening sooner than later. And I find it interesting. We talked about Shohei, that usually it's like you wait for the giant domino to fall. They tend to set the market. You know, if you're the top starting pitcher, which in this case would be Blake Snell, where you sign, or Aaron Nola, for example, where you sign kind of dictates what other guys are worth. This year, all that's off the table because the best free agent pitcher and the best free agent hitter are Shohei Ohtani, and he's going to get money that nobody else has ever seen in baseball. So now everything else is kind of all over the place. So we'll get to that next week. But I want to start with this, and we'll start with the number one trade piece that consistently keeps being talked about, although the Padres love to insist that they have no desire to move him, and that is Juan Soto. Heavily linked with the Yankees right now, partially linked with the Mariners right now.
Are we buying this? SNY is reporting it.
I walked up to Joe earlier this week and said this player
SNY?
being talking about traded to the Mets, and Joe immediately hit Twitter like, "What? That is bullshit."
I'm a
It was pretty
skeptic.
great.
I'm a
And I
skeptic.
agreed with this. That's why I was coming to you. I'm like, dude, the Mets are in on him. What?
What I find interesting with Juan Soto on the market, I mean, I have to believe the Padres, let's talk about the Padres real quick. They're moving him because they know they can't afford him, right? Okay, so that makes that easy.
Shedding a bunch of payroll.
So, of course, he's got to move. Although I'm surprised. I'm surprised by the fact that he hasn't been moved yet. That they were left for dead at the trade deadline, still not moved. Could have gone to a contender. Now we're in the offseason. He's available. Still not moved. I know things just started. I don't know if he's going to be moved in the next 2 weeks. Do you think people are kind of out on Juan Soto?
Oh no,
Absolutely not.
no.
What is he,
Does he-
24?
Does he still have the clout that he had when he was in Washington?
Yeah, yeah. That dude. That dude is.
You see what I'm saying? Like, when San Diego got him, everybody was like, whoa!
Well, clout
Juan
is-
Soto!
The hype was at its highest, but then again, when your team sucks and you're not as relevant and you don't get that postseason time, then your value goes down a little bit. But that didn't really hinder Bryce Harper, and I'm not comparing Soto to Harper, but that didn't hinder him too much in
I
the
don't think
beginning
it's-
of his career,
I don't
right?
think it's a terrible comparison.
I mean,
I
Harper
really
and the
don't.
Nationals, what were their success and how he just played great baseball. And I think Juan Soto is an on-base machine.
Yeah.
So, no, I think that his value is still high. But dear God, if the Yankees go and get Soto and Yoshi, not going to be happy. Not going to be happy.
Do you think Juan Soto really changes the narrative for the Yankees?
I think both of them changes the narrative, whether it's changes the where that team is going. It definitely makes them better. I would like having Soto on that team 100% makes them better because, again, it's not power. It's getting on base, too. That dude has a great eye and has had great on-base percentage throughout his career. But you have an arm and you add that, like, that makes them better narrative-wise. Does it make them better on the field? Maybe 2-3 wins? I mean, I don't know.
Because I worry Yamamoto and Soto going to the Yankees is the most on-brand Yankee move since 2012. That these two guys are now going to be the savior. Okay, well, who's playing first base? Who's playing third?
Cody Bellinger. They'll sign him too.
You know, like who's the shortstop? Is Gleyber Torres there? No, you got to deal him to get.
Dude, Anthony Volpe just won a Gold Glove. They'll be fine at shortstop.
Yeah, but
that's actually
but
not a
does
position
San Diego want Gleyber Torres? You want a fifth shortstop? You need a fifth shortstop on your team now?
No, I think the Mariners might be in on Gleyber Torres, frankly.
So I don't love Soto to the Yankees. I really don't love that move.
I'm not sure.
And not because I want to root against him like Joe, but I just don't love the move.
I'm not sure that I am.
Him and Judge play right.
That's a fair point. But
Judge can play center.
Judge also, I would maybe be more inclined to DH him a little bit because of his injury.
You could
struggles.
DH Soto too if you want.
Exactly, and Soto's 10 years younger than him at this point. But I think of another player that the Tampa Bay Rays traded to the Padres a few years ago, Rookie of the Year Will Myers. You remember that? Who ended up being a decent player,
Very
but
decent.
not this massive like 7-time All-Star that we.
Not what we thought, but a pretty good player.
But yes, but that's the thing. That's kind of what I'm getting at. We want to make these good young players, even possibly kind of great young players that have 2, 3, 4 good seasons into amazing future Hall of Famers. And more often than not, that never happens. I think Yasiel Puig came into the league guns a-blazing, and all of a sudden by 30 he's out. Look at Will Myers. He's out by 32, essentially.
Yoenis Cespedes.
Exactly. There's so many guys that were like, oh
Chris
my
Davis.
God, blow the world off or blow the cover off of the baseball and just shock the world. But I'm not sure. Soto was great when he was in Washington. Was that greatness the peak for him, though? That's a question.
I want to get into. I want to move on and get into the other guys, but I mean, is Soto the gem as far as hitter? We're taking Ohtani off the board. You take Ohtani off the board. Is Soto the gem? Is he the guy you really want, or is it a Bellinger, or is it a Rosarena? You know, I'm about to bring up the Blue Jays here coming up.
It's Soto. I mean, yeah, well, that really changed things in 24 hours, but it's still Soto. I think to me, of all the players that are available via free agency, trade, whatever, he is the best player that is available at the plate.
All right. So we'll see. Juan Soto might be the domino that falls before some of these other guys get traded. And speaking of them, I'd like to dive into that because, you know, there's a bunch of free agents. Schultze mentioned Cody Bellinger. Obviously, there's the Ohtani. There's a couple guys in trades, and there's a new team that might be sellers that just blows my mind. But that might tell you where the state of your franchise is. We'll do all that next. That's Joe Fisher. I'm Patrick Harris. Jordan Schultz behind the glass. 1080 The Fan.
It's King Lasix.
Yeah, right. Because T.I. at the Hayden Home Amphitheater, I will never forget, man.
Shout out to Isaac Ropp. He forgot who T.I. was. He was in the news this week, and Ropp's like, "Who's
Oh no,
T.I.?"
is T.I. a bad guy now?
No, actually, he was lamenting against his kid, and I believe put him in a chokehold because his son.
Yeah, T.I.
Is his son a minor?
Continue, sorry.
No. I'm sorry. I don't believe his son's a minor, but he was claiming he's kind of been on a trip that he's from the streets, and this is a kid.
His
that grew
kid?
Up, yes, yeah, his kid, and he grew up in a gated community. You know, T.I. literally a multi-millionaire for quite a long time now.
Great work with JT.
So yeah, it sounds like his kid was trying to, act like a little hard rapper should, but it's like, dude, you don't have that life, and he had to put him in a chokehold.
Well, good for him for doing that as a father, but T.I. also kind of a weird human being, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 years or so, some things have came out, and he's a weirdo.
Wasn't he the one that said that weird thing about his daughter and her virginity or whatever?
Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah. He did save a dude in Atlanta from jumping out of building, though.
Hey, that's cool.
He heard a dude was gonna jump out of building, and on the radio, they're like, "Oh yeah, downtown's kind of closed off right now. There's a guy about to take his life." He's like, "Hey partner, take me to him." And then, sure enough, got on the microphone and talked the dude down. And that was a good T.I. impression, by the way. He would say partner. Don't even give me that. You gave me the Colorado Rockies thing in the last segment.
I'm just thinking about Dead and Gone by T.I. and JT.
Oh, God, that is not...
What artist did you see in Ben that changed your Spotify?
Iration and Revolution.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Iration was my #1 listened to artist of the year. And I saw them in August.
I had a bunch of people.
The end of August.
I had a bunch of
like 3
people
months.
up in arms at the office because Taylor Swift made their top 5, and they were like, "Yo, I like T-Swizz, but there is no way I listen to her top 5." So there's conspiracy theory about the algorithm. My number 1 was the Beatles, and I listened to them a lot, but I don't know if that's my number 1 on the algorithm.
If you're any female under the age of
60?
30, yeah,
60.
I'll go 50.
Okay, 50.
T Swift is in the top 5 this year.
I had John Mayer in my top 5, which I found hilarious because I like John Mayer, but I haven't been listening to John Mayer. I've been listening to Dead and Company. So they're just like, ooh, the algorithm. We'll do the Grateful Dead and we'll throw John Mayer in there.
Yeah, Iration and Revolution were the 2 that snuck in there. And then, Kendrick, he always sneaks in that top 5 every year somehow.
Mine's weird. I mean, you're looking at a little Tech 9, but then you're also looking at Dan Fogelberg. I mean, this is the farthest
I like Tech 9.
I listen
Tech
to
9 to Dan Fogelberg.
That is what I'm talking about. This
Tech
is
9.
the mix that my algorithm's coming up with.
Man.
Here's what you listen to.
Your
in
top
2023.
artists are Nathaniel Rateliff and RZA.
I thought I was cool for going from Lil Baby to, I don't know, Bobby Womack or something like that. I mean, come on. That is Tech 9 to, who was that again?
Dan Fogelberg.
Dan Fogelberg.
Come
Dear
on.
God.
Let's
Run for the roses, baby.
Let's reel this back in. I know
You started it.
I know I did. I noticed this thing that came across. So I wanted to talk about potential guys being traded. There's rumors that Corbin Burns is on the block. There's no rumor about Tyler Glasnow or Shane Bieber. Those guys are definitely going to get moved at some point.
Yeah, the first rumor I saw about Glasnow was that he was on the block 5 days ago, and then I haven't really heard anything.
Yeah, the Braves have emerged as the front runner for Dylan Cease, which would be a wow move, and I'm sure they have the assets to do it.
That John Morosi, another Morosi bomb, he says the Cease deal could be going down within the next 48 hours.
That would be huge if the Braves land Dylan Cease, because he's been one of the most consistent pitchers in baseball, not named. And he's not a guy that's like Carlos Rodon, where you're like, good luck. He signed for New York, and I was like, that's got Carl Pavano written all over it. But the thing that's interesting to me the most right now when it comes to trades is the Toronto Blue Jays might be sellers.
Yeah, this was very weird and unexpected.
Vladdy Jr. and Bo Bichette both got 2 years left on the deal, and there's talk that the Blue Jays might be moving them now to maximize their get back, because apparently the organization is notorious for not spending money. Despite spending a ton of money on Jose Bautista and Josh Donaldson and Matt Chapman, I find this really strange that Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and
R.A.
Bo
Dickey?
Bichette are
R.A. Dickey.
are potentially available.
Yeah, this threw me for a loop. I mean, Bo Bichette,
I think Bo Bichette's massively overrated.
I think so too.
But I think if you're the Blue
a little
Jays,
bit injury prone.
but I think if you're the Blue Jays, you're like, well, that's my shortstop.
And listen, I think that the alliteration helps a lot. I think his name just being Bo Bichette
And your
having
dad
a
looked like a dude that would
long,
kick my
flowing
ass.
locks with all the accessories. I think that there's definitely a
A
cool
two-time starting
factor.
shortstop in the All-Star game, bro.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you that I think that Bo Bichette is a lot cooler than he is at bat. That is for sure.
You guys are crazy. I'm calling you both out. You are crazy on that point.
Do it.
What?
Bo Bichette has been one of the most consistent shortstops. I believe he was at the top of the league in hits in 2021 and 2022 in the American League. He hit 306. He was literally one of 10 guys that hit 300 in the major leagues this year.
Let me ask-
How is he not one of the best hitters at the dish?
Let me ask you a
George,
question.
right.
Let me ask you a question. Would you trade for Alex Bregman right now?
Why are you asking me? I think
Don't-
you've heard me
no,
say this
don't
on the
answer
show
his question
several
with a
question.
times.
I'm
I
asking you.
hate Alex Bregman.
Don't answer his
I
question
would
with a
rather
question.
deal with a wart on my ass than trade for Alex Bregman and watch him in a Mariner uniform.
What if I told you that Bo Bichette is a poor man's Alex Bregman?
That's bullshit. And I'd rather watch Bo Bichette because at least he's not a cheater. And you guys, I guess to his flowing locks and good looks point, he's better looking than Alex Bregman.
I'd
So
punch him
no.
in the face.
No, Jordan's 100% right.
I'd
here.
punch Bichette in the face.
And he's really good in the field too.
You are right. You are right though about the injury thing.
Vlad though, that's one that I am kind of scratching my head on. Like that is an MVP candidate 2 years ago. I mean,
I had him on my fantasy team this year, and I think, and fantasy is fantasy, but you know what I mean. Baseball, it's a little different.
that dude
than
had
like football.
so much hype coming around, and it's like
Well, his dad's a Hall of Famer.
and I mean,
Maybe
I'm on
one of the best players we ever saw of our lifetime.
I'm on the fan graphs now just to like look at the projected roster. It's just like, are you in that bad of shape?
I think people are
Yes.
worried. I think people are worried that Vladdy has hit his ceiling.
I mean, there is when you're bigger
At
like
25.
that. When you're bigger like that, there's the problems that come up like Cecil Fielder or like Prince Fielder. Like there's a lot of these guys.
He's not even
Moan.
25 years old.
But by 30, a lot of these guys have a massive load of injuries or back problems.
That's
or
in
knee
5
problems.
years.
Look,
So like you don't want him for that 5 years in between now and then?
I mean, he was an all-star this year, but it's obvious looking at the stats that this was a down year for him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, after
And
you
I
put
and
up
I
the-
think
yeah.
people are worried about that, including the Blue Jays. And right now, you're not going to get his stock's not going to be any higher. 2 years controlled at 25. If I'm them, I am not. If I'm them, I'm doubling down, and I am like going to get Blake Snell and trading for a Rosarena, and I'm in the Shohei sweepstakes, and I'm in the Juan Soto sweepstakes. If I'm them, I'm all in.
And I'm looking
But there's
at
now talk around the league that Bo Bichette and Vladdy Guerrero Jr. are available, and that is mind-blowing.
I mean, I'm not even seeing any like prospects of theirs that aren't pitchers, batters, fielders rather.
yeah, actually, yeah.
That aren't like none of them are really anything to snooze at.
I've heard Vladdy Guerrero and Alex Manoah for Pete Alonso.
Alec Manoah. by the way.
Alec Manoah.
It's okay. It's
not the
funny.
first nor the last to do it.
Alec Manoah and Vladdy
I'll
Jr.
probably do it in 5 minutes.
for Pete Alonso.
That's an overpay for Pete.
I mean,
Not
Mano-
if you devalue Vladdy.
I mean,
And
Mano-
Alec Manoah had himself a rough world
yeah,
right
no,
now.
I was gonna say Manoah is essentially a wash in that trade to me. So you're essentially talking about Vladdy for Pete, which
I'd rather have Pete.
Vladdy's OPS was still 788 this year. I mean, it was a down year, but like Pete's 24. Pete's now third on the other side of 30.
I was
if I'm
gonna
not
say the
wrong
age
about
difference
that,
is
yeah.
what I feel like Vlad still has 3 to 4 solid years left in him.
I'm not anti-Vlad. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. No. I find it weird. Like, I mean, but again, looking at the fan graphs, literally was on my computer a second ago, is that they don't have a lot of hitting prospects. So if you want to load up and try and get some more prospects, draft picks, compensate, whatever, then I guess this is how you do it.
And I'd be trying to
Because
trade.
if you look at the rest of the division, You look at the Orioles and the Rays, they're better than you. You look at the Yankees, probably going to be better than you here soon.
Red Sox will spend the money to be better than you.
Where are you? You're kind of the odd man out here.
Stuff. All right, when we come back, are we doing fair or foul? I forgot to ask.
I got 3 of them.
He's got fair or foul. All right, when we come back, we'll do everybody's favorite, fair or foul. And we'll dive into some more of this trade stuff next week. Maybe we spend next week on all free agents' hot stove and just get wild at that.
I'm sure that, winter meetings are this Sunday.
Because we had so much more to get to, and I derailed.
A lot of stuff is going to happen.
We can blow fair foul out. I don't care. If you want to get to some trade stuff,
I like fair foul.
Bro, I'm telling you, I think the show will write itself next week.
All right, I love that.
Yep.
Joe just turned me on. He said my favorite words, write itself.
All right,
less work.
Yeah, when we come back, we'll get into fair or foul, everybody's favorite. But before we do that, there's our boy Schultze with sports.
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, some news out of the NFL today. First in Cleveland, the Browns elevating Joe Flacco to QB2 behind Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He is still in concussion protocol, and since DTR is out, looks like Flacco, at least it's a big possibility anyways, he's going to become Cleveland's 4th starting quarterback this season. And the New York Jets opening up the 21-day practice window for quarterback Aaron Rodgers just 11 weeks after he had surgery on his torn Achilles. The team says he has been cleared for functional football activity with no contact. And in college football, Duke starting quarterback Riley Leonard entering the transfer portal after head coach Mike Elko left the program to take the Texas A&M job. College Station is rumored to be a possible landing spot for Leonard. In the association, a full slate of games tonight, just one still in progress right now. It looks like the Clippers handling the Kings in Sacramento, 84-63, 6.5 to go in the third quarter. All the other finals, looking at the Lakers beating the Pistons, 133-107. The Raptors edged the very injured Phoenix Suns, 112-105, and the Grizzlies over the Jazz, 105-91. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schultze from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk. Watch and wager on pro and college football from across the country at Spirit Mountain Casino. Learn more at spiritmountain.com.
Your favorite fan shows are on YouTube. Mash the subscribe button and like us for live streaming video and 1080 The Fan on demand.
Colder weather is here, and so is cold and flu season. That means it's the perfect time to bring your kids in for a well child visit. It's a checkup to make sure their development is on track and their immunizations are up to date. And while you're at it, schedule their annual teeth cleaning too. Dental care is an essential part of your kids' overall health. Find easy tips to stay healthy at careoregon.org/kids.
If you've been arrested for a DUI, call the Reynolds Defense Firm. This is McDaniel Reynolds with the Reynolds Defense Firm, and we specialize in just one thing. We represent good people facing DUI charges. If you've been arrested, the first thing you need is to find the right law firm to help you. The kind of law firm you can place your faith and trust into. A law firm that you can believe in, and one that will believe in you too. The Reynolds Defense Firm is exactly that kind of law firm for the clients we work with. We do fantastic legal work, and our team is second to none. While every case is unique and outcomes differ, what I can say is that our successes in the courtroom often border on amazing. And this isn't just a happy coincidence. Our attorneys have more than 35 years of experience in Oregon's DUI laws, and we understand the criminal justice system inside and out. When I say we do just one thing, I mean it, and this is why we are so effective. The Reynolds Defense Firm isn't right for everyone, but we are exactly the right firm to help good people who face DUI charges. Please keep our number in your telephone, and if someone you believe in has been arrested for a DUI, please call us right away. The Reynolds Defense Firm. We're solid, we're here if you need us, and we are very good at what we do.
The magic of the season has arrived. Coastal wants to wish you and yours a happy and joyous holiday.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, just what your holidays need.
Everyday life moves pretty fast. At Coastal, we truly hope you find the time to take in the lights, sounds, and joy of the holidays. Embrace those you love. Spend more time with friends, laugh a little louder and a little longer, and truly cherish the season. Whatever it is you do for a living or live to do, Coastal is here for you. From gifts for the family to feed for your livestock, Coastal has just what you need to put a little country in your family's holiday season. Happy holidays and a prosperous new year from everyone at Coastal.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, just what your holidays need.
Shop in-store or online at coastalcountry.com.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, savvy, staying ahead of the market at every turn, finding ways to do more with less, and taking advantage of every opportunity that comes their way. That's why Comcast Business is introducing the Small Business Bonus. For a limited time, you can get up to a $1,000 prepaid card when you switch to Comcast Business, the company with the largest, fastest, reliable network. Yep, you heard that right. 1,000 back. Something extra for your company. From the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call or go online to learn about the $1,000 bonus today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/5/2023. New customers with 750 megabits per second or above and 2-year agreement must keep required new services for 30 days to receive prepaid card. Other restrictions apply.
So what's your favorite thing about the holidays? Well, it just feels like there's magic in the air.
Holiday magic is definitely in the air at Fred Meyer Jewelers. And we're putting a bow on our 50th anniversary celebration with amazing values as our gift to you. From gorgeous gemstone rings to dazzling diamonds, classic necklaces, and so much more, you'll find beautiful gift ideas to fit every budget. And our expert associates are here to help you choose the perfect expression of your love. So celebrate 50 years of gift giving with Fred Meyer Jewelers.
This is the Hot Corner with Patrick Harris and Joe Fisher on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
All right, as much as Joe and I are laughing about Rudy Gobert in a dark room being the next Defensive Player of the Year.
And the next defensive genius of this generation.
That's for somebody else to discuss. But we'll move on to Fair or Foul. And without further ado, our fantastic producer, Jordan Schultz.
He is the farthest thing from a genius.
Dude, do you hear this story, Rudy?
Well, he's a millionaire, so.
This past summer...
Money does not make you
Hold
smart.
On. This past summer, Rudy Gobert spent 64 hours underground in a dark room, all alone, cut off from the outside world.
Shout out Aaron Rodgers.
And envisioned a Wolves defense. And sure enough, the Wolves defense is the league's top-ranked defense this year.
What up, dude?
So he is essentially a Socrates.
I like to think that he was thinking about wolves, not the Timberwolves, but like how wolves play defense.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, like a pack.
And then he gave it to Chris Finch, and they're like, we can work with this.
We could totally do this.
We can put this to like
you're a
basketball
genius.
stuff.
Well, we hope you're a genius because you cost us a lot.
Hey, Rudy Gobert season. He likes to get choked, and it turned him into a whole nother player. Draymond? No?
I mean, I like
7-foot French sexy man. He's got a lot of millions of dollars.
Dude, he had a nasty possession.
Wipe your ass on that mic too, Rudy.
Nasty defensive possession on Chet last night.
Yeah, well, he had a nasty case of COVID as well that started the whole downfall of the entire world. So.
Side note, love Chet Holmgren. Love Chet.
Chet's been. If we're going NBA
Check the
detractors.
Check the tape. I just want people to know.
You do love Chet. You're in on Chet.
2 years ago, check the tape.
Oh, you were down on Gonzaga's Chet Holmgren?
No, high.
Oh, you.
Kevin Durant with better defense.
Okay. All right. I got you. That's a big prediction, but. All right, let's see if any of these big fair or foul stories tickle your guys' fancies tonight. Got 3 of them. Let's just start overall with this year's free agency class. We've had some moves so far. As we mentioned earlier in the show, you can go podcast it on the Service Patriots podcast, wherever you get those. Aaron Nola, basically the first shoe to drop for the offseason, signing a big contract with the Phillies, 7 years with them. A couple other small moves, but not much happening yet. We're on the eve of the winter meeting. So, guys, fair or foul, this is the weakest free agent hitting class in a decade. Haven't seen much movement. Wondering if that's why. Fair or foul. But overall, just the free agent class. This is the weakest one we've had in a decade.
I remember that 2016 really sucked. I would have to go and look year by year, honestly, but it feels very, very lackluster this year. It really feels like the biggest pieces that are available are via trade. And so to say that this free agency class,
just like last year, I mean, you had Corey Seager. The year before that, Marcus Simeon with him. I mean, there's been some big names.
Oh yeah. I mean, even like Trout when he re-signed his deal, Lindor.
Aaron Judge was on the market last offseason.
Yes. So, I think without looking at the past 10 years in front of me, I'll say fair because we've been doing this show, about 7-8 years? Yeah, it feels
March
like...
will be 9th season.
Dear God. It just feels like maybe the hitters, we ain't got that juice like we years past. So I'll say fair.
Yeah, I'm with you, Joe. I think Shohei clouds everything. Shohei being number one, being the...
I see there's Shohei...
And then there's everybody else.
Class.
Yeah, it's like when you talk about the greatest hockey players of all time, it's Gretzky, and then you start the conversation.
Yes.
Shohei is one, so I feel like that sometimes clouds the judgment. But yeah, as you go down the list, once you get to Cody Bellinger,
it's a big drop.
It's a huge drop off, and there's a lot of people. I am not one of them, and I'm probably in the minority. There are a lot of people that are very wary of Cody Bellinger, despite just winning Comeback Player of the Year. But yeah, he is the top free agent prize if we're not counting Shohei. And you're right, Joe. The drop off of him is huge. The trade is where it's at least for hitters. If Juan Soto and Randy Arozarena, and you even get down to guys like Jonathan India, Jorge Soler, I'm seeing headlines how he is one of the free agent steals. I'm like, get over yourself.
All right.
That is absolutely ridiculous. 10 years are calling, and Jorge Soler
Just trying to make a
would
mountain
like
out
to
of a
take your
molehill
number.
there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I think Cody is going to be a great grab for whoever has. I hate him on the Yankees, but I might like him somewhere else. Yeah, from hitter standpoint, the free agent class is pretty weak.
All right, I like both your guys' answers there.
Pitching, though, I feel very different about.
Yeah, the pitching, there are definitely some options, but it's just you see a lot of sitting on your hands when the market's a little thinner like this. So interesting for sure to me. Going on to our next fair or foul, it revolves around the biggest free agent, Shohei Ohtani. So an article today on MLB.com, Anthony Castrovince wrote this one, talking about Shohei Ohtani essentially already guaranteeing himself a one-way ticket to Cooperstown just 6 years into the league. So I wanted to ask you guys, two-time MVP, Rookie of the Year, he's got, just crazy stats for his time. 171 home runs already, 274 lifetime batting average, 34.7 career WAR, and that's obviously including his pitching. So, you guys, fair or foul, think that Shohei Ohtani is already a Hall of Famer?
I think what's the most interesting thing about Shohei is these accolades. Obviously, let's take pitching out of the equation. Let's just talk the hitter Shohei, which might be what we have for the rest of his career, okay? Second Tommy John, we don't know what pitching looks like, and especially for that much money. But those stats, Rookie of the Year, 2 MVPs, 274, almost 200 home runs. You know who had better stats than that in his first 5 years? That's Mike Trout. And when Mike Trout showed up and won a couple MVPs and a Rookie of the Year and was hitting dingers and gold gloves in center fields, we announced him as a Hall of Famer about 5 years into his career. Now, I think he's kept that pace up. Yeah, he's breaking down a little bit now, but Mike Trout's a Hall of Famer. If he retires tomorrow, he's a Hall of Famer. And if he plays another 8 years and is kind of mediocre, I think he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, I buy it. I mean, it's the same narrative we said about Mike Trout. Why can't it be the same for Shohei?
There is only one player in the Baseball Hall of Fame who played for less than 10 seasons.
Do I know the answer?
Absolutely not.
It's not Sandy Koufax? I thought Koufax played 9.
Addie Joss.
Nope, don't know it.
The Cleveland Spiders at that time?
Baby! The Spiders!
Damn Spiders.
I don't know if they were the Spiders in 1902. But from 1902 to 1910.
No, they're the Indians in 02. They're the Spiders in like 88.
Oh, I just read this.
1888.
Baby, when pitching wasn't really, you weren't trying to get people out as the pitcher. You were just throwing it up so they could smack it.
He apparently died from tubercular meningitis in April 1911.
Also known as tuberculosis.
Wait, that's like only...
Also known as living in 1911.
Yes.
Yeah, right. That's a Tuesday. Yeah, so with that being said, I say, yes, Shohei is a Hall of Famer because I'm blanking on the running back's name for Denver Broncos.
The Detroit
Terrell
Lions,
Davis.
Barry Sanders.
What was it?
Terrell Davis.
Terrell Davis, thank you. He played for like 5 years
Yeah,
or something
but
like that. 5, 6 seasons.
Back-to-back Super Bowls and an MVP.
Absolute monster
Absolute
for that
monster.
short time frame.
Shanahan's O-line.
Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer right there. So,
Shout out Mark Schlereth's 75 knee surgeries.
yeah, stinking stunk on the line,
Yeah,
baby.
Tom Nalen, that old
Yeah,
90s line.
I mean, Barry Sanders, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they're a guy, and I understand it's a different sport, but you can have an impact on your league and in your sport in a short amount of time, and Shohei has done that.
And I think
Yes.
with Yoshida and Yamamoto, I mean, Shohei could go in simply on the usher of the new wave of Japanese players in Major League Baseball. So if not just a player profile, but a historical context, like how you affect the game. Like what I always say about Michael Jordan, the reason he is revered is because he changed the game. Steph Curry changed the game. Shaq changed the game. And Ohtani is changing the game before us. And that usually gets you a little extra bump in votes.
Other guys with 2 MVPs in their career, by the way: Bryce Harper, Miguel Cabrera, Juan Gonzalez, Frank Thomas, Cal Ripken Jr., Dale Murphy, Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench. I mean, most of these
All those
guys
are Hall of
Famers.
Famers except for Juan Gonzalez because
Exactly.
steroids.
Yeah, roided up. But yeah, I mean, you go down the list. Willie Mays had 2. Ted Williams had 2. So I find it hard to believe that. I know Mike Trout had the same issues injury-wise later, or excuse me, the same beginning to his career with some injury issues later on. But
Quick fun stat about Mike Trout and
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani. Do you know that the Angels in the last 10 years have 5 MVPs and 0 playoff wins?
Yes, I do. I did know that.
Isn't that nuts?
Good old LA.
5 MVPs, 0 wins.
At least they've
Insane.
got MVPs. You know how
It's
many? You know how many MVPs the Seattle Mariners have?
They got more playoff wins.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I'm not sure which I'd rather have at this point because I'm not sure it matters. But that kind of leads into my last fair or foul of the evening. The Seattle Mariners. It has been, I would say, a quiet offseason for them so far. Apparently, they're not in on Shohei Ohtani. They have traded a reliever they didn't need to trade for a third baseman, Luis Urias, from the Red Sox. Apparently, according to
The
their
new
thinking,
starter.
yeah, that's going to be their third baseman. And it's a reclamation project like Jerry DiPoto 2.0 move. It's just unbelievable. Along with that, they traded their third baseman, Eugenio Suarez, for a backup catcher and another flamethrower. So, guys, fair or foul, the Seattle Mariners trying to dink and dunk this offseason instead of spend a ton of money. Fair or foul?
I'm going to say foul because I don't think you're going to be feeling that way once Blake Snell puts ink to paper. I think that he does want to come to Seattle. He was up in Seattle for the Seahawks game.
Raise the flag on Thanksgiving.
And the Huskies game. And there was reports that at the Huskies game, a fan apparently yelled at him, "Come to Seattle." He responded and yelled back to them, "Come and get me." So I feel like he wants to be here. Now, do the Angels need arms? Not really. But when a player that has won 2 Cy Youngs is coming off a Cy Young.
You mean the Mariners?
What did I say? Mariners. Well, the Angels are also interested in Blake Snell, as a matter of fact.
If I'm Blake Snell, run!
Yes,
run!
exactly. No wonder he's like, "Come and get
Run!
me, please."
I'll play for $1.
Like,
I make money on Fortnite.
I say, yeah, thanks for the sub. I say he needs to go to Seattle just for the sake of his mind state after dealing what he did in San Diego this year. And he wants to. And I feel like the Mariners make that move. I feel like that's smart of them for saving money on Shohei because you can get a player like Snell and possibly a few more pieces that can dink your way to a good team. So maybe this is fair, but or foul. I don't know what the original question really was, but they're gonna get Blake Snell.
They're trying to dink and dunk instead of just going out and acquiring
For now.
big guys.
You're a
For
foul.
now.
You're a foul.
The first couple of hits are foul, but it's gonna be fair here soon.
I'm going to ride with Joe on this. I think this is foul. I think this is DiPoto making small moves to unload some money because I think there is a very good chance that Logan Gilbert ends up in San Diego and Juan Soto is in right field for the Mariners. And I think there is a very good chance that Wu and or Miller are in Tampa Bay and Arozarena is in left field. And I think there's a chance when you lose Gilbert, Wu, and Miller, there's going to be some room for Snell. Now, the question with Snell that I worry about is how much is he going to cost and how long? Because that Robbie Ray deal is going to lay over that payroll for a little bit. And if he can be great next year, that's awesome. But that's a lot of money tied up in a guy that's unknown when you already have a baller pitching staff. I'm not out on DePoto yet. Does it look crappy? You know, are the Reddit memes, you know, we sell Suarez to the lowest bidder? Oh, yeah, they're out there. And does it make sense? Not so much. But hey, Chapman's not linked to anybody. I think he's not done. DePoto's not done, and he's a wheel and deal kind of guy, and he has more assets than maybe any team in baseball right now.
Oh, dude, there is a left-handed pitcher in Detroit that we don't know about.
I got
that
three-
pitched like 30 innings last year that we'll know very soon.
I got 3 pitchers. One is a potential Cy Young candidate, and the other 2 are like 10 years old. Like, he's got options, a lot of them. I think Soto's a bad move because he won't re-sign.
We gotta go.
He's got it. All right, when we come back, that is Fair or Foul. We do it every single week. We come back. I got one last little journalistic thing I want to ask you guys before we get out of here.
Fair enough.
Just a little interesting thing I saw last night. We'll get out of here. Hot Corner, 10 of the Fan.
Holiday stories from Shane Company customers.
It's our first Christmas.